Hi, do you remember me? I'm Eva Capson. We live in the mountains, remember? Kind of in the woods with all our animals on the farm in our little log cabin. Isn't it cute? We built that ourselves. That's where we live. We live in the mountains. And oh, we just loved living there. We would, my mom, there's my mom, would read to us. Let's get some light in here. And she would read some books like Call of the Wild and Black Beauty, and we just loved listening to her read. And my dad would sometimes would sit down and make a horse ride out of his legs, and we would, for the little kids, for us, and he would have a chant that he would do, and we would pretend to ride a horse. This is the way the ladies ride, tree, 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 tree. It was something like that. Anyway, we thought that was fun, and my older brothers and sisters, we had a big family in that mountain home. That's most of us right there. And that one is me right there. That's me. There's my mom, and there's my dad. We had a big family. And when I turned 8 years old, I got baptized. And we do it a little differently back then. There's my baptism. And I was baptized by a guy named Albert Dixon, it says right there. And I was confirmed by a guy named Orson Manwaring. That's him right there. Maybe you know him. And so I got baptized. And also about that same time, we had one more little baby. She's so cute. So we had a lot of kids, and her name was Clara. She was our last child, and she was so cute. Everybody just loved Clara. And that's a picture of her. My mom told her smile pretty, so she smiled pretty. That's Clara, and that's Clara feeding a little lamb, one of our little lambs. Bah. She's feeding it with a bottle. And that's Clara riding with two of our friends. That's our friends on our little horse. We had a little horse we could just ride. And we loved Clara. She was so cute. Well, some more years passed by at our little mountain home where we lived, because we lived in the summer, remember? And we go to Blackfoot in the winter. Remember that? And so we lived there, and I got a little older. Now you can see what I look like. And when I was about 14, I was getting older, and my dad decided to mortgage the farm and get some more sheep, because he had a lot of sheep. And that was how we got our money. And he decided to mortgage the farm, and my mom didn't really want him to do it. She said, I think we're okay. He said, no, this will work. This will be good. We can double our sheep and we'll have a good farm. And so he did that. He did it. And something called the Great Depression started. And the Great Depression means the economy is hurting all over the country, and it's hard to get money. It's really hard to get money. We lost the farm. We lost everything. This is called the Great Depression in America, if you ever hear about it. We lost all of the animals. We lost our mountain home with our little spring. We lost all of our mountain home. And we lost all of our money. And we lost our little log cabin. We couldn't pay for it because there was a depression. And we had to move. We moved to Blackfoot every winter, but this was different. We wouldn't be coming back this time. And you know, my dad was never quite the same after that. That was a hard thing to happen. And my mom got a job and my dad got a job. And we rented a house, because we lost our house in town too. We rented a house on Center Street in Blackfoot, and that's where we lived, because we lost all of everything. Well, yeah, money was tight, and my parents both got jobs. And it was all right living in town. I made friends with a girl who lived nearby with our house in town. Her name was Zeta. Zeta was her name. And one day we were playing jacks. Do you know what jacks are? That was an olden days game. We were playing jacks on our front step, and I noticed in a newspaper about a school in Idaho. And because my dad had a job with the WPA, that's where he had his job, it meant I could go to school, because I couldn't go to school right then. And Zeta was looking at it, and she said, I could go to school too. My dad works there too. And we could go to this school. It's called the Intermountain Institute, and it's in Weiser, Idaho. Where's Weiser? So we're over here in Blackfoot, right there. That's where we are. And to get to Weiser, you go over in Idaho and go up a little bit, all the way to the other side of the state. And that is Weiser. Weiser, Idaho. kind of a funny name, isn't it? And that's where that school is. And so with that school, with high school, you would go there and you would live there. You'd live there. And you wouldn't come home at night. So it'd be like college. You'd go there and you'd live there. And so we got excited, and we wanted to see, and we got into that school there. And it's a school, but you live there. So we had a dormitory and some other girls who lived there. They had about 200 girls all over the state that would come and go to school here. There's the girls. And we learned some school stuff, but we also learned how to set a table. Look at all that silverware. That is the formal, nice way to set a table. You have to use all that silverware and all the plates and the bowls and your glass. That's the nice way to do it. We learned how to do that at that school. We also had basketball. I played basketball, and I liked it. And also volleyball. I loved playing volleyball. That was fun. And every Saturday night, we would have a dance. And you had to go and sign it the time you're leaving, and then tell them what time you'll be back. And you have to be back on time. And then you can go to the dance. You know the dance. Oh, look, there's a fun dance. We loved these dances. And there was one girl I remember at this school. She got back so late. All the rest of us were in bed already. And this one girl came back so late, and she was trying to sneak in and be very quiet. But the dean of students saw her come back and said, let's go to your room. Pack up your things. You're going home. You're not going to be at school here anymore. Let's go. Put you on the bus, send you home. Ooh, okay, so we always made sure to come back in time. They had very strict rules at this school. Stand up, hon. But I liked it. I kind of liked the challenge. And so after a year, I stayed there for a year, and we came home again. We came home, and Zeta and I were still friends. And that was such a fun year at school. And Zeta said, Eva, why don't you come to MIA with me? And I said, MIA? What's that? And you still have MIA today, but it's called Young Women's. Young Men's and Young Women's. And so I started coming with her, because we went to church, but you can't really go to church in the mountains. You have it at your own house. And so I started going to the Young Women's activities with her, and that was so fun. There's all these other girls, and we had dances all the time. And that was fun too. We had dances with all the other young women and that were there, and the young man, and it was very fun. And I remember one night I was 14, and there was this guy there. He was a few years older than me. He was 18. He was the assistant scoutmaster in town, and his name is Holly Manwaring. And he asked me to dance, and I don't know, I think he kind of likes me. I guess he's a nice guy. Got kind of a cheesy grin, but he's a pretty nice guy. But anyway, it was so fun. It was kind of fun living in town. I'm glad. It was hard for my parents, but they did really well. They really did, and I was having a lot of fun too.